welcome back to my channel. My name is Vera, and in today's video I'm going to be setting up my December bullet journal. This is my last month in my B6 blackout bullet journal and I'm so excited. It has been a lot of fun. I will be doing a review on this, but for the moment let's get straight into it. Here's a flip through of my November spreads, but as I did film this back in October, they haven't been filled out yet. We start off with my cover page, which are different colored corals filling up the page. As you can see, I didn't end up filling the left side of the page. I think I could have. We have my monthly log and my habit tracker, my master list, my week 44. As you can see, I went for more structured weekly spreads instead of a looser one, so like rolling weeklies, but I did revert back to a rolling weekly at the end of November. And then my review page. My color palette this month is Christmas, so I'm going for green, red, and white. Also, I am filming outside at the beach house, so you might hear some birds in the background and possibly some waves as well. I'm just testing something out here, so bear with me. I hope the audio quality isn't too bad. December is generally a very busy time for me. I'm running around and getting things in order, and while you'd think it would make me use my bullet journal more, I actually feel like it's the other way around. I usually spend more time planning my next bullet journal, so I'm not really focused in the current one. And this year, on top of that, I am actually not even in Australia. I'm on holidays, so even less of a reason to use my bullet journal. But at the time of watching this, I have actually already finished setting up my 2023 bullet journal, so I guess I should be using my bullet journal more, but I digress. That's why this month we're going for an easy and more minimal style. While still fun, the emphasis is actually going to be on my month review and my year review, which I will be looking at in another video later. This entire layout is 1000% copied off of Harmony from @joyletters_bujo on Instagram. I've copied her entire style, only changing the decorations. I've made it a little bit more Christmassy, and I'm using a smaller journal and black paper. So if you want to check out her original spreads, I've linked them down below. She has amazing ideas all the time, so definitely check her out for the most minimal and aesthetic spreads you'll ever encounter. I am in love with everything she does. Because this layout is so minimal and easy, it actually took me less than 1 hour to do. That is a record because I usually take hours to do my spreads. And when I say less than an hour, I mean less than an hour to film and to do, which is amazing. I'm just showing you that while I do love going all out planning and painting elaborate spreads, sometimes I just need to step back and go for something simpler. So let's get into the setup. My theme this month is Christmas corals. Yes, you heard right, not carols, but corals. Because you know, this whole journal is coral related and I wanted it to be a fun play on words. And you know, Christmas corals, Christmas carols, there's something funny there, right? My original thought for the cover page was to do a coral wreath, like a Christmas wreath, but with coral. Again, play on words from a coral wreath. Anyway, but it was already too complicated, so I went with reindeer antlers, but rounded like coral, and then some ivy and a candle. I'm doing everything with a jelly roll from Sakura, a 08 tip because it's slightly smaller than the Archer and Olive acrylograph tips, and I'm going to be using the silver acrylograph and the colored acrylographs for the decorations. As you can see, everything about this doodle screams sweet and simple. It's exactly the aesthetic I'm going for. After outlining the doodle with my white pen, I did do practice attempts on another piece of paper. I go back in with red and green to color in the ivy. I believe I should have just skipped the white pen for the ivy decoration because the white outline doesn't really do it for me. So for the next spreads, I will be foregoing the white pen just for that ivy part. I add a small yellow tip to the candle just so that it looks like it's burning. And now it's on to planning for the month. As I am copying Harmony spreads this month, my new favorite vertical calendar won't work. So I've copied her calendar layout to fit it on the page. The reason my vertical calendar won't work is because, like Harmony, I'll be cutting out about a quarter down from the top of the page to use it as a Dutch door. If you decide to use this spread, I've gone for cutting 8 rows down the page, but again, this is a B6 bullet journal, so it is smaller than your typical A5. I will get back to this later, but you do need to remember your spacing when setting up the next spreads, so just figure out how many rows you need at the top and then make sure to leave space for it in the next spread. I will explain more in detail. Let's just continue with the page elements first. Harmony's calendar had the days of the month in a more rectangle box, which is something I'm not used to doing. I usually prefer mine in square boxes, but I'm already copying her entire spread, so why not just copy the calendar as well at this stage. Like her, I write the numbers on the line, and actually I don't think I've ever done this before, and it's such a good idea because you don't cut off an entire square in your calendar where you could fit in some other details, so I will be using this idea from now on. I tried putting red week initials at the top, but decided I didn't like the color, so I went back to white. I also added my decorative elements, antler shaped coral with ivy on each side of the word December, December, and my ivy often looks wonky because I'm not moving my journal around to draw the ivy. This is a common thing for me because I'm always thinking about angles whilst filming, so instead of making my life easier and turning my page, I make it harder. At least it's aesthetic for the video, right? Once I finished my monthly log, I moved to the next page. Again, like Harmony, I'm going to put tasks and events on this page. I think I actually could have put events on the top and tasks on the bottom because I feel like I always have more tasks than events, but I wasn't thinking about it when I was copying. I am using the silver acrylograph to write the titles again, by the way, because it is very, very pretty. Although on camera, you just can't tell that it's silver, but it is silver, not white. Next up, we have my habit tracker. I haven't done a horizontal habit tracker in ages. I think it's awesome that it can fit perfectly on top of the page in this particular case for the Dutch doors. And I also chose the 8 rows for the marker of the Dutch doors because I wanted at least 6 rows for habit tracking in December. I have yet to figure out what those habits will be, but you get the point. I would usually trace out all the lines for the habit tracker, but because I'm going for this minimal aesthetic, I am not going to be doing that. I will write my habits on the left and put a cross in the same row when I've done the habit on a specific day, and then I will leave it blank or put a dash if I haven't done it. My guess is that I'll be tracking yoga, maybe social media usage. I'm not 100% sure yet. Upon reflection, I think I may also add vertical lines on the habit tracker just to represent the end of each week so that I don't get lost, which often happens to me with the horizontal and vertical habit trackers because tracking 31 days, especially if you don't stick with your habits, is kind of difficult. So having the lines to separate and distinguish weeks is a lot better because it's easier to track for 7 days than it is for 31. I also add some cute decorations of red berries and different styled coral/seaweed, to mix things up ever so slightly. By the way, if you'd like to see more of my habit tracker ideas, head on over to my Instagram at VeroBujo. I have collections of them on the collections tab, and I'm also working on monthly log ideas and weekly spread ideas to put in that collections tab as well. And this is what the page looks like. Now don't fret, I will explain the bottom part of the page and how to use it later. Next up, we have my goals page. I'm going to write a couple of goals on the top just so that I can see them when I'm flipping my pages. On the right, I'm also adding a small calendar because Harmony did one and I thought it was a great idea. I'll explain why in a minute. On my goals page, I think I'm going to be writing 2, maximum 3 goals because I just want them to be short and simple and to the point so that I'm not getting overwhelmed whilst I'm flipping through them. I just want everything to be as minimal as possible. Now, a couple of goals that I have in mind is getting monetized on my YouTube channel, and that is a goal I've been trying to hit for the last obviously 2 years, and I just really want to get going with it. And yeah. Another goal is definitely getting back into yoga because, as I mentioned in literally every single video, I want to get back into yoga. Anyway, the following page is going to have my Archer and Olive tasks and my VeroBujo tasks. These are different to the tasks I wrote at the beginning because those ones are personal tasks that are not work related. As you know, I'm an Archer and Olive ambassador, so that responsibility does come with work. It's just a small self-promotion as well. Most of the products I am using are from Archer and Olive, so don't forget to use code VERO10 for 10% off if you do want to buy anything. I also have my VeroBujo tasks, which usually revolve around video editing and Instagram planning. I'd usually have my Etsy store in that as well, but as I'm not in Australia at the moment, I have put my shop on holiday mode. Also, apologies, now there's a plane running overhead. We heard birds, we've heard planes. Goodness, I'm not sure what else we're going to hear outside today. Next up, I put a quote because I ran out of ideas to put on the top because I had an extra page to fill. So I chose "You've got this" because I do have this, but also because I couldn't think of a shorter quote that would fit. On the last page, I have my classic monthly review that I will fill out later. In fact, I'll be going over all of my monthly reviews in my yearly review video coming next month, so stay tuned for that. I also go back to the beginning and add some decoration because I only thought about adding it in after I'd started. I had been wondering how I was going to integrate the decorative elements because this is very minimal, and where do you put pretty pictures if you're going for something minimal? But I did work it out in the end. Finally, we move on to the cutting of the Dutch doors. This is definitely the part I was most excited about when copying Harmony spreads because I usually cut out the paper when I'm cutting Dutch doors, so it has it's smaller within the page, if that makes sense. But the brilliance of Harmony's Dutch doors is that you can use both the top and the bottom without cutting extra paper out of your journals, because I know that is a not sensitive topic, but that's a polarizing topic. People don't usually always like cutting paper out of their journals. So this is a nice way to make use of Dutch doors, but also where you don't have to cut out paper. You can just cut it and then leave it. The top doors are all going to be for my monthly spreads that you would usually see me set up in the first couple of pages when I'm doing my bullet journal spreads. But Harmony's technique means that I can always see my monthly spreads whilst I'm doing my daily logging, which is awesome. It means that you can flip through all of your habits, your to-do list, your tasks, your events, while still sticking on your daily log. Finally, I'm going to go back to the beginning just after my monthly log and events page and write week 48 at the top of the second Dutch door. The idea behind this is that I'll be able to write as much or as little per day for my daily logs using my bullets to log everything, and then I'll be able to view all of the monthly spreads at the top without changing the page, which is something I usually have to do, and I have found it annoying in the past. So could this layout be my new favorite layout? I'm going to add in just a couple more decorative elements just on the side. I think I'll just add a couple of these as the weeks go by, as the days go by in December. It's nothing particularly exciting, shall we say, but it is a cute element and I do like it quite a bit. We've come to the end of this video. This was my last ever planning session in this small B6 blackout bullet journal. I do have my travel journal that's at the back of this one, so click on this video linked in the card above if you do want to see it. Now let's have a quick flip through. Here is my December monthly log. As you see, I've gone back to the calendar. I'm just going to flip through down the bottom to show you all of the pages that I have. As you can see, I have several pages that I can use for daily logging that I will probably not even use all the way through December, because I don't think I'm going to be daily vlogging. I don't think I'm going to be daily logging as much as I think I am. But anyway, then at the top, we have all of the different spreads that I set up. And as you can see, like I mentioned earlier, you can just flip through them without changing the page that you're on. Finally, we have my month review, which I will be filling out later. So if you want to see that and how I review my entire year, come back for that video as well. Here's another quick flip through one more time. Depending on which page you are, you can completely access every single spread, and it's completely functional and absolutely stunning to look at. I really love how this turned out. My 2023 bullet journal setup will be up in 2 weeks on the 4th of December, so come back for that one.